Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Will's Mediocre Gaming channel. We're here for a specific event. This has been coming up for a while now. It's the Community Challenge Reward, the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure tier list, where I'm going to make terrible judgments of everyone's favorite frickin' anime. I don't know if it is, but look, either way, it's a series that I enjoy to a certain degree, but that I have some core key issues with, and that I'm gonna work through tonight. So consider this a de facto therapy session. I'll probably be putting this up on YouTube, and now I see you YouTube viewers who type, oh, I would like to watch a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure tier list. If you find this video, first of all, welcome. Hi, how's it going? Please like, comment, and subscribe, and all the other YouTube stuff. But if you're gonna watch, skip 10 minutes ahead and be like, what the hell is he saying about my favorite character, Dio Brando, about my favorite stand, son, I'll be like, come on, get out, man. It's a joke. You gotta be just you don't have to be mean. Anyway, I'd better get started. But yeah, I will be putting this up on Will's Mediocre Gaming channel, YouTube channel, later on during the week once it's done and over with. Which is really the reason I'm doing this, is because how often on average? Okay, I just realized I ruined the logo a bit by moving myself there. So you know what? So what is the point of this? The point of this is because let's be generous and call it month or so on stream, someone gets me started on freaking JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and every time they do, I start freaking malding. I lose my damn mind, because I've very much enjoyed a lot of JoJo, but then there's always a point where like I'd have to either not necessarily suspend my disbelief, I don't think that's the right expression for it, but just be like, ignore the fact that it could have been done better, right? Not that, and again, not by me, obviously, but in general. So I'm gonna be ranking stuff here. We're gonna be talking about it a lot. I'm hoping it won't take more than half an hour, 45 minutes. And then we'll move on to just, playing some Tekken. It's been a while. I hope I'm not too rusty, and it should be fun. To help me, because it's been a while, so for more context, I've read through the entire manga up to and wherever it was in part 8 last year or so, JoJo Lion. And I've never watched the anime apart from, the YouTube video of the torture dance in part 5. For those who don't know anything about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it is a very long-running shonen manga, which means it includes lots of cool fights, cool battles, and the story is based around a lineage of people who have decided to nickname themselves JoJo because there's a Joe in their first name somewhere, like the Italian kid who's called Giorno, and a Joe in their last name somewhere, like the Japanese one, or one of the Japanese ones called Kujo. Well, that's his last name. So anyway, they always make it work so that it's called, JoJo, and so that they're called JoJo, and that's the gist of it. We're gonna be working through a few things. Have I ever seen Jello Apocalypse? So this is basically JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I will probably have a look at that. In fact, last week, I think I watched a video from what's his name? The cosmonaut. I think his @ on Twitter is Cosmonaut Marcus. Anyway, it was talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and all the points he made, I could only agree with. It was like listening to myself rant about it, which was, I enjoy listening to myself, I suppose. Otherwise, I wouldn't really be in the streaming business, in the guy who talks over video games business. Stuff is pretty good to sum up series. Oh, I'll have to have a look at the Personal 5 one. Well, in the meantime, here is Will's Mediocre JoJo's Bizarre Adventure tier list. We've got 3 different tier lists, actually. Hi, Demote. How's it going? We've got 3 different tier lists. We're going to start with a ranking of the parts. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure parts. Of the main cast. I didn't do main characters because, you know, and I've got 2 for these. I haven't decided which one to use yet, honestly. And then 1 for the main stands. So I went with main cast because honestly, if we just pick the 8 JoJo's, it's going to be over really quickly. And also, there's a lot to say about... Is that Kishibe Rohan? Is that his name? Ronan? Rohan, I think. There's a lot to say about... I want to call this guy Weather Factory, even though I know that's not his name, that's the developer. So anyway, we'll be working through these slowly, and then only the main stands. Because if you look... And I've got it here. If you look, we're on JoJoWiki.com or JoJoWiki. If you look at the number of stands, again, don't ask me why they only start on part 3, but we'll come to that later. There's 166 unique stands. And we're not going to go over all of them. And, you know, here's Foo Fighters. Here's, I don't know, Beach Boy. They're all named after, you know, they're all some kind of reference. Bites the Dust, Killer Queen, Sheer Heart Attack, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Are you kidding me? All right, anyway. And then there's the list of characters, and this needs to load apparently. But here we go. How many do we have? Actually, I will be referring to this because some of them in the main cast, you know, will be a little difficult to find. And you have to excuse me because I have to scratch my nose all the time. Bad Company is definitely like, okay. And we'll get to, I have so much to say. You know, there's a lot to go over. I'm going to get started ASAP, but there's too many characters, so I'm just using this as a reference in case I don't recognize what I'm looking at down here. So, let's start with the parts. This is not in order, unfortunately, and it's probably going to be difficult to swap around, so let me just do that real quick. This looks like 8. This is 6. This is probably 2. This is 1. Put 5 in 5th position. And is that 3? We're gonna you're gonna say this is 3. Okay, we got it worked out. No scratch and check. If you're following up, okay, if you're not yet on Will's Mediocre Discord server, here's your free invite. But if you're following there, you can use, and again, I'm gonna say the whole thing every time, but only every time once, but Will's Mediocre bingo card, which you can use to follow along and, you know, have fun. Doubles up as a drinking game fairly nicely, if I might say so myself. Right, so the first part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, to sum it up, it's kind of like a horror thriller manga. It started in the 80s, right? I mean, you can see the art for the original characters compared to like what they look like now. I mean, they've done vast improvements. By the way, let me know if the music is too loud or not enough. So, badam. Thank you, Thrillhouse, for the video in the Discord, by the way. I sees ya. Oh, Will sees ya. Sawarudo. Well, you know, I should probably have that as a sound effect somewhere for, you know, just ready. Zawarudo. There you go. All right. 42 seconds. No, okay. A 5-second video. That's the one we want. Eventually, we'll have, you know, some sort of Stream Deck thing, and we can fire that one off whenever we like. So, is part 1 C tier? I'm probably going to put it up to B tier because that's the one that kind of started everything. And it had a fairly interesting setup, you know. The first JoJo is called, ignore me, Jonathan Joestar. His dad takes in an orphan called Dio Brando. And the orphan turns out to be the most horrible person in the world. But yeah, I guess it was in part 4 that it transitioned, and we'll come to why that's, spoilers, the best freaking part. Anyway. God tier Tekken character demote. Only the most expensive DLC in Tekken. Anyway. So, part 1, yeah. So, it basically, it starts, they found this old mask, so Dio's horrible. He puts on this cursed mask. Kills JoJo's dog. Kisses JoJo's girlfriend. And maybe even worse than both of those, although the dog killing isn't great. Kills JoJo's dad. It's not Voldemort, but it's basically that, because eventually he's a vampire. I'm gonna have to. It's a bit cold where I am, so I have to check about the heating later. But we'll move on to that. You know, we'll in the future skip this in the YouTube video. Thank you, and sip on some tea too. Skip the tea slurping too. Thank you. Excuse me. So there's gonna be a lot of talking, folks. Right, JoJo's terrible. No, Dio's terrible. Dio puts on the mask, becomes some sort of horrible, immortal vampire creature, infects a whole bunch of other people. It happens in Victorian England, by the way. And this is something that could be really interesting, because all the JoJo's more or less happen, well, at the start, they more or less happen at a different period in time, because they're all descended from each other. So, that could be setting the seeds for some fantastic continuity there. Wouldn't that be great? Anyway. So I'm going to put it in B tier because honestly, it's pretty satisfying. And that's where you find out that I have to delve here. I have to explain how the author apparently loves Italy and rock music. So everything in JoJo is a reference to one or the other. So this is where the best character in JoJo's part 1, we'll come to that when we go over the main cast tier list. The best character, Will A. Zeppeli, comes from Italy to, I don't know what he's doing. He's looking for the stone masks, and he teaches JoJo how to fight using the special technique called the ripple. Because remember that the baddies are vampires. They can't come out during the day. This probably changes later because none of that stays ever. And eventually, the ripple is basically the sun's energy that you can control through your breathing. So it's got some interesting downsides, as in, like, if you fight underwater, you can't breathe, so your attacks aren't as strong or don't have the ripple effect, or, stuff like that. It's interesting. Whatever. So it's B tier. It's not amazing. It's not the worst. What the hell is going on here? We're doing something that was requested. It was a community channel point challenge for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure tier list. 60,000 channel points were donated to make this stream happen. And also after that, we're going back to do some tech. Looks suspiciously like anime shite. It 100% is. Except it's manga because I didn't watch the anime, but we'll move on. If you're completely lost, don't worry. So is every other JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reader. Part 2, honestly, C tier. The best thing that part 2 did is make Nazi into a likable character somehow. I'm not joking. We're talking about battle tendency, excuse me. Yes, of course. Rudolf von Stroheim. Oh, he's a genuine Nazi because this happens, I believe, during the Second World War. So he's this is anyway, he's friends with the main character for some reason, and we move on from there on to, and by the way, this is the grandson of the original JoJo. He's inherited the power of the ripple since he's very young. Great, whatever. They fight against these old horrible rock men who, one of them called AC/DC? We can find out really quickly. Excuse me. Where? There he is. AC/DC. Cars, Wham, and Santana's definitely a bad guy. Okay, so there you go. Never heard any of those names before. Wonder where that's from. So anyway, he's got the ripple. I don't know. They probably win at the end. We move on. It's gibberish. It's... Don't worry. I was reading this whole manga series. I'm not going to trash JoJo too much because I did enjoy it, but also... Part 3, we're going to put in A tier. The concept of stands is introduced. Remember the ripple that lets you fight off vampires this whole time? Or also other enemies? You know the superpower that all these characters have, the first 2 parts? This no longer exists. Just forget about it completely. Pretend it never, ever happened. Because that's what they do. And yet it still becomes really good because they come up with stands, which is a whole system of powers that are based on these, I guess, characters that appear behind you and give you extra powers. Yeah, it's basically psychic Pokemon. You know, you don't know. Yeah, you do. I just talked about it. Watch on YouTube. You can just rewind. Right now, we're gonna have to move on. You'll have to excuse me. I was talking all day, so tea's important here. Warm tea and honey. Yeah, part 3 is pretty good. You know, it's a road trip. They go from Japan to Egypt to kill the resurrected Dio. It's yeah, I mean, it's A tier just because it's so important. Overall, though, you know, it is a road trip. They have like fake out deaths and there's a whole bunch of little problems with it. You can easily overlook them because of how, honestly, it's quite good. It's quite good. It's a start of stands for the whole series, and there's another 5 series. This is, I don't know how many volumes of manga, but it's a lot. This is a great start, and also the main character, we'll come to that later, is the grandson of the character of part 2, but the grandfather, aka the main character in part 2, is still alive and is there along for the trip. It's pretty good. Next, we have my personal favorite, part 4, going in S tier. It's just, it's great. Moving on. No, I'll explain why it's great. It's all based, he's like, what is he? Like, he's the hidden son of the main character from part 2. It gets complicated. This JoJo is not necessarily the most interesting character, but it all happens in this one Japanese city of Morio, and every story happens there, and it's all kind of interconnected in one way or another. There's a lot of great stuff in there. Some interesting fights. The main character's powers, and we'll move on to the stands. They're more interesting too. I think it's I don't know if it's a bold opinion, but it's the right opinion. Silence Gaming, how's it go? Look, we're in the middle of the whole thing here. I'm gonna go with part 5. Let me give you a C to B. Undecided. Might review later. Part 5 is the Mafia one. If you haven't followed, so basically we have vampire horror. I don't know, stone people. Nazis help us fight stone people. Road trip to kill a vampire in Egypt. Slice of life. Everything is happening in you know, a little Japanese town. And now we're on to the Mafia thing. It's still kind of a road trip, but it's a Mafia road trip. It happens in Italy. Ooh. Main character is Giorno Giovanni, who is the son, maybe, possibly, of Dio. Remember the bad guy from the other ones? Yeah. There's no real other mention to Dio in this, apart from the fact that he is most likely his son. That's it. He's his son. Anyway, let's move. Oh, yeah. And the reason that he's still a JoJo is because Dio's head was implanted on the first one's body. Slight spoilers, but anyway. There's some weird, messed up logic there, so we'll move on. Is it good? Sorry. Yeah, it's fine. Ending's a bit weird, and the bit of Deus Ex Machina in there, but it's fine, just not amazing. Part 6 is the daughter of Part 3's guy. She is in prison for crimes she didn't commit, probably. It might be D tier, honestly. Yeah, she escapes from prison, and she's staying in prison trying to find a, is Prison Break. Is Prison Break. Is JoJo's Prison Break adventure. I don't know what to tell you. Now, however, the other reason is far down the list here. It might even be F, honestly. Big spoilers ahead, so mute me if you don't know yet. At the end of this, they reset all of the world. It just resets entirely. The bad guy that they're kind of beating, I think they don't really beat him, and also his stand controls time and fast forwards everything until the universe ends and a new one is reborn, and they just loop back to where they are in time, except it's a complete alternate reality, and that's how it ends. That's how the freaking thing ends. Yeah, it sounds OP. It's not just OP, it's freaking ridiculous. Remember that at this time, most of all these characters are related. It could have been they could have had a super interesting thing going on with continuity and anyway, they just throw it out the door after the end of part 6. Moving on back to part 7, which is happening more or less around the same time as part 1. It's a new Jonathan Joestar, and I can prove it. Look, Jonathan Joestar, Steel Ball Run also has Johnny Joestar, short for Jonathan. Also, this guy's name still is Zappelli, but Gyro now. Anyway, we'll move on. I am going to put this up in B, though. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be spoiling it, for the people who don't know about it. Hopefully, it's an interesting rant. It's an entertaining rant, but yeah. Anyway. Remember stands? Forget stands, at least for the first half of this. For the first half of this, forget you even know what a freaking stand is, because they did. No, they don't have the ripple either again, though. They have this whole new thing now based around the golden ratio and, I guess, spinning stuff. And people love this. People love this part. They think it's great, and I think it's very good. It would stand on its own if it wasn't. I think it would go great if it wasn't a JoJo's part. I think it should just have been its own thing. But it's JoJo now, so eventually stands come back around the half of it. What's the story of this? They're in America now. They're doing a big race from the East Coast to the West Coast, or vice versa. And there's a big reward at the end of it. JoJo is trying to impress his dad or something. Honestly, I forgot. Also, he can't move his legs in this one, but he can ride a horse. Moving on. The power, his superpower in this one is he can spin his fingernails around and shoot them at enemies. Did I mention that JoJo's was really kind of gruesome? JoJo is in all these parts. JoJo is the name of every main character based on, and I said this before, honestly, my own moderator not paying attention. JoJo is every main character because all of their names can be turned into that nickname. So in part 3, it's Jotaro Kujo, so JoJo. In part 5, it's Giorno Giovanni, so he's Italian, but it still works, don't ask. Yeah, part 7 is good. Is it a good JoJo's part? Yeah. Is it a good manga? Definitely. Yeah. At the end, there's the president. He gets the body of Jesus Christ, which is somehow in America anyway. It doesn't get, honestly, that much more different than what some people really believe, so I'm not going to dwell on that point. But yeah. It's, they rotate. They can rotate things. That's their power. They rotate. They spin stuff. It's great. And then that becomes stands. Yeah, no, honestly, it's like trying to explain that it actually is good. But anyway, je suis French Jesus. Anyway, part 8. I'm gonna put in D for now. When I stopped reading, it was only half out, and I went to the last. I stopped halfway through part 8, and I finished where it was at the moment. So I haven't read in a year. Part 8 is actually a continuation of part 7. Is in the same new weird universe that has nothing to do with all the other ones. But it's weird. I don't know what to tell you. It's weird. Also, he might not be a JoJo, or he's 2 or something. And dude, I don't know. Also, they have a whole thing with rock people again, but not the same ones from the part 2. Remember those? Nah. Whole different thing. You know. So anyway, looking at it, that's probably how I would keep it. Part 7 might be B+. A-. Part 5 might be B. It can be fun. Nothing in F tier. It's difficult to put JoJo's in F tier. Because if you put 1, then they kind of all are in their own way. Apart from part 4, which is fantastic. All of it in F tier, it's tempting. So to end my talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure parts, they're all shit. Anyway, part 6 might have a place in F tier, but we're gonna be lenient. To be honest, D I suppose is new F in this case. So that's where I stand on the parts. I'm gonna save this later. Go away. Let's move on to the cast. Remember those? This is gonna be all the main characters. Look, it's not in order, so I'll work it out as we go along. And I might need some reminders, but we're doing this, all right? I'm being extra thorough. Thank you for coming to my PowerPoint presentation. Oh yeah, there's more of this. Don't worry, we ain't done. There's gonna be we're gonna go the whole way, because I never want to talk about this on stream again. And if I do, I'm just gonna refer you to the video and ask for a like and a subscribe. Anyway, part 1 JoJo. He's a cool guy. He's nice. Learns the ripple, is strong. Get your cup of tea hands, we're here for a while. Who else is in part 1? If they don't put the baddies, then I don't know what to tell you. Will A. Zappelli. Actually, we have 2 different tier lists, so I'm gonna have a look if there's more people on this one. Will A. Zappelli come to the stand? Any Zappelli? No, it's only the main guys. Okay, well, at least on this one I can find them, so... Yeah, no Magician's Hat. Let's use this tier list instead. Oh yeah, there's tabs. Actually, this is just a little reminder. But yeah. Okay, Speedwagon. That's going to be a fun one. You can eat this. Part 1 JoJo. Come to the stand. Get it? It's a JoJo joke. Terrible pun check. Oh. Yeah. Actually, yep. He's not wrong. I cannot, Father, I cannot click the JoJo. Is this just side characters? No, because the main ones are there. Am I blind? Potentially. We're gonna say it's this guy. Dude, I want to know. It's a JoJo. It's a JoJo. You like the Zappelli fella? The Zappelli fella is great. We're gonna put him in A tier. Also, actually, put him in S tier. His name is Will. Italian guy called Will. All right, just work with it. Add row below. F. So good. Now that we're ready, and also change the color. You want it. I do not know. Sad blue. Sad blue. That's what you call purple here. Oof. Why is the same JoJo here like 5 times and the one we're looking for isn't? Will is blind, confirm. Who is this? Okay, that's the second Zappelli. That's the second JoJo. Let's put them together where they belong. There's only 2 characters in that one. Oh, no, wait, there's 3. Here she is, Lisa. How many drinks have you had if you're following the mediocre drinking game? Honestly, you need as many as you can get. I'm going to help you. Anyway, Will A. Zappelli teaches JoJo the Ripple. He's the reason that we have that power in the game, in the manga in the first place. He's cool. Probably dies or something. Don't remember. Doesn't matter. If that was the original JoJo, he's a good guy. We're leaving him here. Second JoJo. Unless, wait a minute. Where's Speedwagon? Kappa Wookie, how's it going? You're just in time for this shit show. Shit JoJo. No, I'm being good. Speedwagon also in the Cool Hat Club. Do they have the exact same hat in the anime? I don't remember that, honestly. Why do they have the exact same hat, please? Anyway, this guy's a reformed villain of Victorian England. He's the one big piece of continuity that is in 99% of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He fights alongside the JoJo's team with the Zappelli in the first part. Maybe he gets his hat when he dies. That would make sense, actually. And yes, Hades is great. We'll come back to that later for Roguelite Night. Yeah, this guy's great. He helps them. He's a nice guy, even though he kills people at the start. We move past those. We accept anyone in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because in the next part, Natsy's your friend. So, anyway. And they made him more likable than some of the bad guys. I don't know what to tell you. What's good about him? He then starts Speedwagon Foundation that helps every JoJo afterwards. He's referenced to in most of the parts up to 7. He's a cool guy. Who else is who's next? Part 2 JoJo. Kind of honestly funny guy. He's funny. That's all I can tell you. He's funny. Part 2 Zappelli. He's got a stick up his butt. He's not funny. That's how I'm gonna rate them. Honestly, there's no better way. Sorry, I got kicked out of chat if anyone said anything. Bought at full price. That is the right way to do it. They deserve your money. Anyway, moving on. Where am I here? Okay. Come back. Yeah, part 2 is not as good as part 1 for sure. I don't know why. It just isn't. Before I choke. Lisa here, this character, what does she do again? She teaches them the Ripple or something, and she's descended from... Oh, she is a Joestar. Because, remember, their last name in the first one is Joestar. Totally normal English name. Totally normal Victorian English name. She's a Ripple Master. And the mentor of Caesar Zappelli, and that's his name apparently. Sure, makes sense. Joseph Joestar. Okay. And later it is revealed she's Joseph's mother. Spoilers, get out of here. Okay, well, cool. I guess I forgot he was an orphan. Let's bump her up to C tier for that. She's cool, but that's about it. Her name is, yeah, you can tell her that, at least 16. Okay, that's it for part 2. Honestly, part 2 is not that good. Does it not stay at Joestar? No, the third guy, which we're coming to right now. Let me get a. Can we get YouTube? Can we get a yada yada does it, please? Yeah, thank you. That's it. Thank you, YouTube. See ya. Moving on. Part 3 JoJo. Oh yeah, thank you, autoplay. That'll be fun for later. Part 3 JoJo. He is cool. He likes quiet girls. That is, I think, part of his description. It might actually genuinely be in here. If we look at Stardust Crusaders, Jotaro Kujo. That's why his name is JoJo. Cannot say JoJo for 3 minutes. The protagonist here, let me see. He's a delinquent. That's right. So he's a Japanese street thug. His hat might also be his hair. Nobody knows. It is just not said. This is what he looks like, by the way. I've totally glossed over the poses in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and the weird style, just because I you know, that's not something that's very subjective. This here, the tier list, complete utter truth. But yeah, he's got hat hair. Anyway, what's his deal again? I'm sure it says like somewhere. Can we have personality? Personality. There you go. Rough, violent, delinquent, has a gentle heart, loyal to those who likes. Perpetually cool. Where does it say? Because I'm sure there's a few bits where just like his thing is just that he's cool. He's just cool. That's basically his thing. Anyway, moving on. Who else is in part 3? We've got a bunch more characters in part 3, which makes it... That's part of the reason part 3 is more interesting. There's more characters. This guy, Kakyoin. Let's give him a C tier. Kind of a comic relief character. Who else is in part 3? Excuse me, the French guy? What's his name again? Please tell me whose his name is again. It's important. Oh my god. It's a new tab, excuse me. Oh yeah, of course. Jean-Pierre Polnareff. Of course that's him. Sure. We know him well. He is a B tier character as well. Just because he starts off as a bad guy, by the way. So does Kakyoin. They kind of all do. New badge, Pogsters. Indeed. Neek, welcome to chat. I like the blue badge, I gotta say. It looks cool. All the sub badges are based around Dragon Ball Z, I guess. Dragon Ball transformations. So I guess you're Super Saiyan Blue in that regard. But really, I kind of messed up the final badge. But we'll get to that when it comes to it. Who else is in part 3? Oh yeah, Iggy the dog. Give him a C. The dog has a stand. Also, I think, and there's going to be lots of spoilers in this. The dog has a stand. He dies near the end. It's sad, except the dog is also horrible the whole time. He's a dog. he sure do be a dog, though. And then, is this Mohammed Avdol? Yeah, close enough. Avdol, because that's how... I guess there's no... don't ask. It's probably just a bad translation. A stand, if you don't know what a stand is, that's how you can tell that you've only read or watched part 1 and 2. We'll come to stands later because we're going to rank them too. Oh yeah, what, you thought this was going to be your average JoJo's Bizarre Adventure tier list? We're doing everything. Everything. Yeah, and then I never wanted to hear about this freaking show again, right? Avdol is like, smart guy in the group, does good stuff. I guess part 3 JoJo should be A tier. I was probably allowed to say it at this point. It's been at least a couple of minutes. Your friends talk about it all the time at school. You don't know what they're on about. Well, a stand, it depends if you keep it forever and it's a magic power, or it depends if you just have it for one night. Anyway, moving on from there. Hey, remember him? It's this guy, but older. He's a B tier character now just because he's still a little funny, but also his stand is just really, really bad. He controls electronics with vines, I think. And yeah, not the 2014 platform for video sharing, just like actual weird ropes. Yeah, look. Your stand is a sofa stand? That probably exists. The nightlight stand? Who else do we have in part 3? I think we're good to go. I think we're actually done. About freaking time. You stand as the Elton John song, you're still standing? I'm still standing. And they are until part 7, I guess. They are still standing. Okay, let's move on to part 4. The best part. Where's part 4 JoJo? I think this is him. We can't see his face. He's not S tier, actually. As a character, I guess he's A tier. I mean, most of the JoJo's are kind of fun, cool enough. This guy... look, I'll prove it. His main description is that he cares a lot about his hair, and if you make fun of his hair, he gets very angry. Does it say it up here? Give me personality. Yep. Move. Get to the part with the hair, please. Get to the part with the hair. I'm looking for the hair part. I'm control F in the hair. Excuse me, what appearance? First thing they say, excuse me, what did you say about my hair? Next, please. There's a lot of matches for this. Where are we? Again, what did you say about my hair? Hi, Rant TC, by the way. He cares a lot about his hair. If this guy's thick, I mean, they all are. Also, don't even... The Iraqi style is... peculiar. Anyway, part 4 JoJo, he's cool. We like him. But not as much as the other ones. Even though part 4 is the best part. That's all I can say. Where's his friend? We're looking for Okuyasu. Here he is. He's going to be S tier just because he's a comic relief character, but also he's genuinely funny. Let's give him A tier, actually. Who else in part 4, honestly? Okay, Kishibe Rohan is in part 4. Oh, also this guy. The whole story is told through this guy's eyes. What's his name again? Koichi Hirose. He's... alright. He has a stand that evolves. That's kind of cool. B? I guess? Oh, also, cool thing about this one is that the part 3 JoJo is in this one. So we're gonna part 3 JoJo in part 4. So if you're keeping up somehow, because I don't know how you could, is this the right one even? Yeah, I think it is when he dresses in white. Let me see. How are you? Yeah, he dresses in white, and then part 6 he dresses in purple. Okay. So we got the right one. Jotaro Kujo in part 4 is the best JoJo overall. Because he helps out all the time. He's cool, but also you know what he does for a living? He's a freaking marine biologist. I'm losing my damn mind. I'm not joking. If you look at him here. Oh yeah, you could put Massive Rant on the bingo card now. Oh, he is in part 5 as well for like 5 seconds. Diamond is unbreakable. Give me the bit. Okay. His hat emblems are replaced with the dolphin and sun. What is he? Let's see. Marine explorer. Oceanographer. Moving on. This freaking manga. Who else is in part 4? Oh yeah, Kishibe Rohan. He's got the power of manga and anime on his side. At first he's a bad guy. A lot of the main characters of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure are always first bad guys and then they become good guys. That was the case for him as well, Okuyasu. What does he do again? He's a famous manga artist. That was it. The stream is also a manga reference. That is true. Slow Day's work just sounds like just what everyone needs, to be honest. I think we're done with part 4. And no character will ever be as good again. But look, it's time for part 5. Part 5 JoJo, I don't know. He's just a nice guy, I guess. He's got I want to say a grand total of 0 personality. However, the main character of part 5 is probably really this guy, Bucciarati, who has a power to put zippers in people. Let's move on from this one. Who else are we looking at in part 5? This guy, he really sucks. He kind of, I think he just leaves halfway through because he's like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. This is the mafia one, remember? It's all in Italy. They're all mafiosi. This guy leaves. This guy stays. One or the other. Honestly, both F tier. Not interesting. This guy with the bullets, kind of fun. What's his name again? Guido Mista? Sure. I think this guy leaves and this guy stays. Who cares? Honestly. The characters in this one, I don't know. Apart from Bucciarati, the other ones are... You know, this one's a bratty, annoying character. Probably gonna put him in D tier. This seems to be the bad guy from part 5, who's in this for some reason. D tier, his power is kind of cool, I guess. He's got this whole split personality thing, which is kind of interesting up until the end. I guess D tier. Yeah. Honestly, there's not that much going for part 5. Speedwagon is S, of course. Of course, and so is, you know, my favorite Zappelli, Will. He's even got the same second initial as I do, so you gotta keep it that way. Also, suddenly I'm this much closer to being doxxed. Is she the daughter of the... She's the daughter that they're protecting in part 5. She's kind of interesting. She has a stand after a while. Who's this? Bruh, I don't even know. There's only so many people with pink hair. You think this guy's name is Vinegar? Anyone Stone Ocean with pink hair? Oh, wait a minute. I made a mistake. This is not the bad guy from part 5, so forget about that. See, there's mistakes. We're wrapping this up. We're wrapping this up. We've only got one tier list to go, and only like what is that? Like 10 characters? It's easy. We're also going to skip this one because I don't know who she is. What's after part 5? Part 6. Remember the prison one? Oh baby, the prison one. This is the main character, Jolene Cujo. I guess she's B. She's all right. She likes her friends, but also she's a criminal. So I don't know what to tell you. Oh yeah, I completely forgot. The French guy's back in part 5. He turns into a turtle or something. C tier. Actually, he's probably like let's put him in C tier in part 3 and B tier in part 5. You know, he's got to have some character progression because the manga never gave him any, so it's got to go that way. Just kidding. Clearly it did. Look, he's in a wheelchair now. Then, okay, this is... What's her name again? Okay, we're going to wrap up the tier list, but this side character here is going in D tier. She's Jolene's best friend in part 6. She's there, I guess. This kid is, I guess, the one telling the story in part 6. I'm going to put him in B tier because I remember liking him. That's really all it takes. Part 3, JoJo in part 6. Jolene, indeed, like the Dolly Parton song. He's Jolene's dad. He's kind of in need of a rescue in part 6, which makes it interesting because he's very overpowered. We'll come to that when we rate the stands. I'm only doing the main stands, by the way, for the main JoJo characters. Not every frickin' stand in the frickin' book. There's a lot. But yeah. He's still cool. He's no oceanographer now. Yeah, Tekken after. We're pogged for Tekken because this is torture. Speaking of, we should probably have a torture dance song going, but by the way, give me the Tuesday lo-fi again, please. I got this I found this playlist thanks to Demote, so thank her for the non-repetitive music tonight. It's not just the Tekken menu over and over again. I need to look up Narciso Anasui and Weather Report. That's right. Weather Report. Anyway, he's in love with the main character and then he decides to help her. Personality, I don't know how they managed to squeeze out that much text out of it. Oh yeah, he's a murderer. I forgot. He's a he's a killer. Let's put him in F tier. Oh, they have weird outfits, poses, expressions, personalities. They have weird everything in this freaking manga. It's just the way it is. She's a robot. D tier. By the way, we're actually almost done here. We're just left with part 7. Part 7 JoJo, A tier. Actual character progression in a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure part. As in, he does a reverse Polnareff and gets out of the wheelchair, I guess. Stuff happens. He learns how to spin his fingernails like so quickly. He's great. Anyway, this is a Pelly though. Best designed character in the show. Allow me to demonstrate. Please load. Thank you. Okay, that's not a good example. But he's got green sideburns. The spin probably is how it's pronounced in Japanese. In action. Yeah, he spin ball. That's his deal. That's his deal. He's very good. We're gonna move on from this, but yeah, cool character. Teaches JoJo everything he knows. Very good at riding horses too as well, which is what part 7 is all about. It's a big horse ride. I mean, part 7 is really good. For a manga, for a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure part, it's like... Anyway, part 8. Again, I'm ignoring her, unless we see her in part 8 all of a sudden. Oh, she is in part 8. Then I vaguely remember who she is, but then that means that she's fitting right here in F tier. Part 8 JoJo, kind of fun. A tier. You know where your winner, where you have to keep promising your viewers it's almost over. Look, we're almost done. All right, we're almost done. Is getting to the good bit. Yeah. This guy, it's kind of weird. I'm gonna put him in F tier because I think, from memory, he is horrible. And part 8 JoJo has amnesia, which I realize makes him even less interesting now I think about it, but he's got a fun sailor's outfit and a fun personality, so he's kind of still staying up here in B tier. I think we're good. I think we're good with the cat. I don't want to go back over this, but that's my rough opinion. Moving on. Almost done. The stands. There's going to be fewer, but basically star platinum. We're going to go get rid of the characters, but star platinum. The main stand of the third part. He punch fast. What he do, you ask? And I say, he punch fast, but also I'm going to put him in S tier because eventually he learns how to stop time, and that's kind of cool. And not overpowered at all. Go. Put an F tier in there. The stand is is the stand separate from the person? Yeah. I guess it's like a manifestation of their spirit or something. If it's ever explained, it doesn't make sense. Who's next? Who's in part 4? I think it's this guy. Yeah, Crazy Diamond. He's really interesting. His power is strong as well. So also he punch hard, but also yeah, he can heal or repair objects and or people. So he can like punch the crap out of you and it heals you. I think it's really interesting. I thought it was a really interesting concept for like a superpower, because he can like punch It's basically a superpower, but it's a superpower that looks cool and is manifested outside of your body. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Star Platinum is imbalanced, but also, yeah, I mean, he's very cool. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Sometimes there's fights and like he breaks a staircase or like hits a staircase and it fixes itself. Beats up his opponents, then heals them. There's interesting stuff happening with this power. Honestly, pretty good. Who's next? What can this one do? Because he's one that levels up. Okay, there's spoilers here and there. Don't mind me. Just gonna go ahead and go with this. He can heal stuff as well. He's weaker during a fight. Also, can we have a... No? Okay, just... That picture is JoJo in a nutshell. Yeah, Part 4's ability is weak, but also interesting. So, S tier. What do you do? Can endow anything its fist touched with life. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So he can kind of grow stuff out of nothing. Okay, I guess reflect some damage. Heal people, like bring people's eyes back and stuff. And also do the opposite. Like he can age stuff, I guess. Yeah, flash organ creation. It's an interesting take on healing, I guess. And then then it levels up, and then what does it do? Everything. I should have read up on this before, but yeah. Oh yeah, it brings everything back to the state of 0. Nullifies everything, prevents them from becoming real. Honestly, they pull this one out of their behind. So let's say that the regular one is maybe here, because it's interesting. We're not ranking the strength. We're ranking more like how interesting they are. A stand can level up? No. No, they can't. No, they freaking can't. Unless maybe sometimes they do. Okay, this one does for some reason. And then we're back to part 6, where this one, who can become strings. It's kind of interesting. Also, he punch hard. Yeah. He punch hard. That's his whole thing. Seriously. It set me off for sure. Yeah, he punch hard. And also he turns into strings. It's kind of alright. This one also evolves. And if they're trying to get us to rank, like, it evolves 3 times. Unbelievable. Honestly, this is all just garbage. So I'm gonna put the, part 7, JoJo. Your stand is F tier. Oh yeah, and Koichi's stand upgrades in part 4. Of course, he's only a side character, but his stand evolves. Is that a thing that's ever happened before? No. Does it make sense within the rest of the story compared to all the other characters? No. Is it fun? Yeah, kinda. We'll keep it, I guess. And then you know what? Part 8, JoJo's stand can just go C tier. He's not like crazy. Its name is Soft and Wet. It's probably based on like... Okay, let's look at trivia. Are you based on a song? Probably not. But also, could very well be. Soft and Wet makes stuff into bubbles. He punch hard. Enhanced strength, so he punch hard. He punch hard, but also he can put stuff in bubbles. The bubbles heal. The bubbles steal the property of the things that they touch. He has a weird name. It's kind of a weird power, but it's interesting enough not to be D or F, but it's not cool enough to be S, A, or even B. So, okay, the piano's back. I don't love it. Give me this, maybe? Thanks. And look, honestly, how do we do? It took a while to get through, but honestly, this should put JoJo's Bizarre Adventure to rest on the channel for a good amount of time. I'm happy with this. We've ranked JoJo's Bizarre Adventure parts. Nothing is F tier, you know? Nothing is so terrible that I would say stay the hell away from it. Some characters are, but, you know, yeah, characters aren't JoJo's Bizarre Adventure's strength. Somehow. Stands, we only did the main ones. There's some really interesting enemy stands. We didn't even go over your friend head. We didn't even go over that. Dio has a really cool stand that can stop time. That's all I can say. So there's some really good enemy stands, some really good enemy characters even. But for the main protagonists and their friends, for the parts and for the stands, this is my current tier list ranking. I'll put it in the Discord later. If you're not already in there, here is your invite. We're gonna start doing some freaking Tekken in about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going on break now. Thank you so much for watching me rant about this, go on about this. I need a new cup of tea, probably. This has gone on for far too long, but I hope you all had a good time. I'm going on break now. I'll see you back in 5 to 10 minutes for some Tekken. Bye.